Hello everyone. Good evening, everybody. Can you guys hear my voice? Am I audible? Okay, great, great, great. If at any point of time, if you feel that you're not able to hear me, just please give me a VINC. Otherwise, VINC is pretty good. Yeah. Okay, great. All right. Thank you so much. And I hope you are able to see my screen as well, right? Okay, okay, cool, cool, right. All right, guys, thank you so much for that. So I welcome you all for this session, which is called Accelerating ML using Rapids. So we will discuss what is Rapids and how do we use it and what is the utility of Rapids in comparison to Python data frames and all those things, right? So the session is almost for an hour and we might stretch a bit on further, right? But I'll just try to wrap it up in an hour, right? And first, the session is divided into like two parts. In the first 15 to 20 minutes, I'm going to take up the presentation, wherein I'll get into details like what is Rapids and why do we use it, what is the utility, and why it is needed, what is actually GPU, data science, machine learning, right? So all, uh, okay. Yeah, Uday Sai Kiran, I'll actually talk about myself as well. Thank you so much for reminding me. Okay, so the first 15 to 20 minutes would be the presentation, and after that there would be a code walkthrough about how we can use Rapids using Colab. Okay, coming to Uday Saikiran's question. Myself, I'm Arun Rao. I'm a data science researcher at Insight, and probably you guys know me pretty well, right? Like maybe like we have recently published an article about the product team at Insight, right? Maybe through that, or maybe like I have taken some of the sessions like GitHub and all the sessions previously, so you might have known me from there as well. Will the session be recorded and available on LMS? Yes, it is being recorded right now, Rishikesh, and you can get the complete URL. Sorry, the session URL there itself, right? Okay, all right. Yes, Lalit, I do know you. We have spoken as well. Great that I'm able to see you in the session. That's nice. Your voice is not clear. Is it? Is it really? Okay, okay. It's quite clear. I think people who are complaining about my voice, maybe like you should check your internet connectivity once. Maybe you could log out and re-log in again. That would be better, I guess. If there are any issues with my, your voice is dropping in between. Is it so? Okay. All right. Guys, those who are complaining about this, I think you just you need to check your internet settings once. If not, then probably I'll check my from my end as well. Your rate of speech is very high. Okay. Actually, what happens is like in Zoom, sometimes you actually listen the basically the rate of speech increases sometimes, maybe just due to some technical glitch or something. Okay, let me just try my headphones. Okay. Just a second, guys. Okay, tell me how about now? Is it good? Is it clear? It's very low. Still, earlier it was good. I Guys, I'm actually getting a mixed response here, so I'm not able to go forward. Now tell me, is it fine now? Okay, I'll try to speak a bit louder. Okay. All right, let's go forward. And again, I'll just tell about myself. I'm Varun Rao. I'm a data science researcher at Insight. So we actually take care of all your technical queries and we create content for you, case studies, everything, right? So that is my introduction. Okay, let's focus on our content now, right? So Rapids is a package which is created by NVIDIA. NVIDIA, you all are pretty much familiar with NVIDIA, right? They provide GPUs and all the stuff. And Rapids is actually created using CUDA architecture. So that's, yeah, graphic cards is one of the things. So CUDA architecture is the basic, what do you call it, the backbone here, right? So the agenda today is to understand why we are going to use Rapids and what why we need GPU in the first place. So let's say like usually we work on our CPUs or our local system, right? The system memory is utilized a lot, and in that case, why are we using GPU here, and what is the utility that we're going to have with GPU? That is one of the things. So first we will cover what is the Rapids, and then we will go for understanding GPU importance, right? And the third thing is libraries in Rapids. So the way we have libraries and packages in Python, in the similar way, we also have libraries in Rapids as well. So we're going to look at those libraries also. The next thing is basically the pipeline, ML pipeline using Rapids. So we have a demonstration of a machine learning model here. So I'll show you how you can create this ML pipeline in Rapids and what are the various packages we use for that. So next thing is basically the comparison between the pandas package and the CUDF package, which is a basically Rapids package. So we're going to focus on that also. We'll see that can we also use deep learning? Yes, absolutely, we can do that. But in today's agenda, in today's session, we are not going to focus on that because it takes a lot of time. So training a model and doing all those stuff, it takes a little bit time, right? What I would suggest is based on today's session, you can just understand how we use Rapids, what are the code and everything, and you can try a deep learning model by yourself. As I understand, the audience for this session is pretty much people who have completed machine learning, right? You all have created your machine learning models and you have gone through theory of machine learning and you know what kind of models are good for you, right? So we'll also look at those things. Is Rapids open source? Yes, pretty much. You'll see like how we install it and how we use it. Yes. So guys, I'll suggest you to just keep your questions for later time, right? I'll give you a window where you can put up your questions and I'll answer all those questions right away, right? So please hold on for a few minutes. Let's complete this PPT first and then we'll come back to questions. Please note your questions and just post when I ask you to, right? Yeah, this batch and this session is for people who have completed their machine learning. You can't use Rapids with Intel. Okay, this is okay. All right. Okay, so let's focus on our agenda today. Then we're going to look at the scikit-learn package in comparison with the CUML package, which is basically a Rapids package. And the final thing that we will have is the demo case study using Rapids, right? So that's the agenda for today. Um, okay. So first thing is why Rapids. Now, before getting into answer why we need Rapids, I'm going to ask you one simple question. Yeah, one simple question like, what is the kind of data set size that you have worked with? For example, I just wanted to know in terms of rows, the number of rows you have worked with. Let's say you can take a benchmark of 1 million, let's say. So I received 3 million from Yashish. Okay, 4 million, 5 million. Okay, that's a pretty big size, right? I'm not talking about in terms of bytes, but I'm talking in terms of rows, right, and columns. Yeah, obviously columns will have less, but when we talk about rows, you might have like millions of rows or something. Now, when I'm talking about millions of rows here, you might have faced some difficulty in processing or in doing pandas profiling, or maybe when you create a model, you might Guys, sorry about that. Actually, there's some internet issue at my side. So what happens is like it's actually raining heavily in Delhi, and there are some internet issues going on for the day. Uh, can you guys hear my voice now? Yes. Yeah. Sorry for the glitch. Okay, let's continue. So as I was talking about rapids, right? So why do we need rapids and what is the utility, right? So in order to deal with larger data sets and the models which are taking pretty much longer time when you train neural networks, right? So it takes a lot of time if you have image data sets or if you have data sets with a lot of rows, millions of rows, right? So then there is a lot of issue that goes on. So here that's why the rapids is something that is pretty much useful in this case. So these are like basically GPU based implementations. So here you will use GPU, wherein you can actually use this rapids package called CUDF. It's called CU data frame, right? So you can use this CUDF package, and you can load a lot of data. Let's say if you have millions of rows, you can load that as well. So the beauty of Rapids is that it gets integrated with a lot of data science libraries such as Python and all the various packages of Python, the pandas. Uh, so Sanjay Nirvan is asking, sorry, but what is GPU? GPU is basically graphical processing unit, right? So when you are doing a lot of tasks in your system, like heavy tasks, like let's say video editing, or you're playing with heavy games, right? So for those, the GPUs are used. Uh, Sorry, Sanjay, but I just don't want to get into those details. Like these are like pretty basic things, and you can just Google them up, and you will get a pretty much a pretty fair idea about it, right? Uh, Okay, so the beauty of Rapids is that you can actually integrate with normal scikit-learn, pandas, packages, and even neural networks and all these things, and you can do integrated stuff there, right? So Rapids pretty much comes handy in that sense as well. So we will see those cases also here. Okay, so the next point that we will talk about here is why GPU, right? Why we going to use GPU? So now anyone can from the audience can tell me like what is a very good utility of GPU in data science? If you have ever worked on GPU models and something like this, anybody can just give me fast processing. Okay, good. Visualization also good. Deep learning, yeah, deep learning models we create, computer vision, okay, processing images, right? Absolutely, right? Okay. But let's talk in terms of machine learning and data science, why we need GPU, right? So I'll just go into the detail of what a data scientist does in a daily routine, right? So they download data sets maybe from some kind of database, or they get it from some open source platforms or something. So I'll give you a simple example here. Let's say there's some kind of data set which is pretty much big in terms of rows. Let's say 5 million rows, or maybe there's a data set which is basically of images, right? So can you imagine the size of these data sets? Okay, the CSV file might be somewhere around in MB or something, but if you have images, what would be the size? Just give a guess, a fair guess, when you have a lot of images. Yes, right. You might have it in 1 GB, 2 GB, something like that, 6 GB. Even I have downloaded like something, a data set of like 6 GB in size, right? So TBs I have not dealt with, but yeah, probably you might have it depending on the kind of data set you're dealing with. Okay, so when you have such a large size data set, it takes a lot of time for you to download the data set, right? From depending on your internet connectivity and all other factors as well. Once you download it, then you take a lot of time to process it and understand it, analyze it, or something. So if you do this on a CPU powered workflow, it's going to take hell lot of time for you, right? If you see this chart here, right, on your screen, so in the CPU powered workflow, when we're talking about CPU powered workflow, the thing is you're actually utilizing a lot of data time in downloading data set. Okay, that you will do here in GPU workflow also, right? But after that, the ETL workflow basically is in data scientist language. You say this is called pre-processing and processing data set or preparing data set for your model, right? So you see the amount of time you're investing in these steps. You have not even reached the stage where you need to train your model in the CPU workflow, right? So all your time goes in a lot of a maximum 80% of time goes in these things, right? Whereas in GPU workflow, if it's GPU power workflow, you can see that you need to invest maybe like at least this amount of time, which is the minimal time that requires to process your data set and get it ready for the training purposes. So if you see here, you can see the training model, validating model, testing model, and experimenting for optimizations and everything. You can actually pretty much do all these things in a GPU workflow in pretty easy manner, right? You will save a lot of time and you'll save a lot of energy investments and all these things, right? So that is what the Rapids will give you, and the entire GPU powered workflow. Obviously, when you work in Collab, you get GPUs such as Tesla T4, P4 or P100 or something, right? You can do that. But Rapids is altogether a framework where you have a very nice way of saving time, right? That we will see in the case study that we are going to look at, right? So that is the importance of GPU when you work in GPU powered workflow. Okay, and the next point that we have here is libraries in Rapids. So as I was saying that you have various libraries which are present in Python, right? The Panda, Scikit-learn, all these things, neural networks. In the same way, you will have these libraries in Rapids also, and the Rapid libraries are pretty much uh, the convention used for this is something like this. So you have this CUDF, which is called CUDA data frame, and it is similar with the pandas package that you use in normal Python. Okay, and for machine learning, you have this CUML. Basically, this is the package name. Okay, and in Python, you have scikit-learn. CUDNN is the basically the TensorFlow, Keras, PyTorch frameworks that we use for doing deep learning or computer vision models and all these things. And one more thing that we have is basically the CU graph. It is essentially used for graph analytics, and it's a replacement of the NetworkX package in Python. I understand that we don't use this NetworkX package for a lot of things. We don't use it actually. We have never came across in this NetworkX package, but it's a replacement of that package in Python. So maybe we need to explore CUGraph more to understand how we can use it further, right? But the other three things, CUDF, Pandas, CUML, Scikit-learn, and CUDN, the PyTorch versions, can come in pretty much handy for you to create your machine learning models, even deep learning models, and execute it in like faster time, right? So these are the packages that we have in our Rapids framework. Okay. Okay, so the next agenda point we have is ML pipelines using Rapids. So now, what do you understand by ML pipeline? Since you all have completed your machine learning stage, right? So just tell me, what is a machine learning pipeline? No, Vinay, we cannot import this into Jupyter Notebook. So you have special collab sheet for designed for this. I'll show you that sheet as well. I'll give you the link for that as well. Okay. Learning multiple models, automated steps of ML. No, I'm talking about the basic sequence of steps. Yes, Ajay, you're right. So please, Ajay and Vishal, yeah, you're talking about sequence of steps that happens in this machine learning framework, right? So and even the way we can use Collab for Jupyter Notebook, we can use Rapid also in Collab. Yeah, that I'll show you, Jigna. Please wait. So I'll show you how we can use Rapid in Collab. That's what the session is all about, right? Okay. So the framework that I'm talking about, the machine learning framework that we have here is basically this. What we do, first we get data, either in CSV form or images or something, right? And then we start preparing the data for our model. Then we do what we do, then we do the model training, right? We can do the visualization before also, we can do the visualization after also. it depends, right? If you want to do the EDA, we can do the visualization first. If you want to do the if you want to show results later, then we can do the visualization later as well. It depends. You can shift this step wherever you need it. So you do the model training here, you do the visualization. So the similar kind of ML pipeline in Rapids is you use CUDF for analytics, you use CUML for machine learning, you use CUGraph for graph analytics. So as I said, we haven't explored graph analytics much because see, the Rapids is a pretty new framework and it's been only months it came into the market and it's still in development stage and there are a lot of functionalities that needs to come up because I'll show you one cheat sheet there. They have written that they are waiting for the updates as well, right? So everything happens here in the GPU memory and GPU frameworks. So we need a GPU framework here and that will help you to execute things in a faster manner, right? So that is the ML pipeline that we have. So as I said, we are going to compare Pandas and CUDF, both the packages together. So I'll show you the gist of what it is actually. So if you can see the title here, Pandas versus CUDF, and it says CUDF always outperforms Pandas while importing a big data set. Okay, so if you see the results here on the screen, the first thing I'm doing is I'm using simple pandas.read pd.read csv function. In this, I'm going to import a data set which is of 0.8 size, 0.8 million rows. The size is pretty much, if you talk about size, it's like 157 MB or something, but in terms of rows, it is like 0.8 million. Okay, so for me, it's pretty much big data set as I consider right now. Okay, so when I import this using pandas, if you see the wall time, I have measured the times for both the processes. So it loads the dataset in 5.2 seconds in pandas, and if you do it for CUDF, it will do it in like 3.15 seconds. Do you see how difference it is? And in fact, these are the results which randomly came up. If you do it in a pretty well manner, probably you will have much faster execution in CUDF as well. Okay. So that is the comparison of pandas and CUDF, and I'll also show you in the case study as well. Okay. No, scikit-learn versus CUML. So CUML is the machine learning package here. Okay. So here, if you compare the results here, the random forest algorithm which was performed using CUML actually outperforms the scikit-learn random forest algorithm, which is the conventional one, right? And the speed was pretty much 44 times higher than what the traditional random forest algorithm was there in scikit-learn, right? So if you see the results in this slide, yeah. Okay, so here we imported this CUML package and we use this logistic regression and random forest, but we are actually only comparing the random forest model here. Okay, so you can see this CURF is used here, and the time that it took was almost 0.23 seconds. Okay, in CUML framework. And in scikit-learn framework, if you see the time, it took almost 44 seconds. So see how you see, right, how fast it is in the GPU framework by using Rapids. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. So I think we are almost there for the case study, right? So let's now go into the case study and see what we have. I'll just stop share for a second. If you have any questions, can you please go a little bit slow? Who is Rita? Okay. Rita, can you just ask me if you didn't understand anything? I can take up the PPT again. Just please tell me. Okay, the rate of speech is a problem for everyone, I guess. Okay. Okay. All right. I understand. I totally get it. Sorry for that. So do you want me to take up the slides again? Any part which you're missing? Lalit, it's using Python. It will use Python. So see, this is the integration of both the things, right? You need Python as well. You need CUML as well. So I'll show you one cheat sheet wherein we actually don't have much of the functions or utilities that we need to do all the things completely in CU Rapids package, right? That is because still they are developing a lot of functions and utilities. Okay, so here we have shown a mixture of both. We have used pandas as well, and we have used a package which is specifically designed for machine learning, right? So we have used that as well. Okay, Vinay, yeah, please just post your questions, or if you want me to take up the PPT again, I can do that. No issues. I'm really sorry that my rate of speech is pretty high. Okay, okay, I'll share my PPT again. Yeah, we can use it with GPU only. Yeah, and on Collab only, right? That's true. Got it. Yes. Yes, Anil, you can say that. So maybe people who find it like who are using it or they are familiar with it, they can maybe they are trying to do it, right? So it's about like research, right? You do the R&D and figure out if you can execute this, right? Maybe they might have launched one stable version where they can use it, right? That's the thing. Guys, I didn't get a confirmation on whether I should take up the PPT again, or because all those things will be coming again uh, in the case study. I'm going to show you those results again. Please do it. Okay, I'll just share my PPT once again, and then we will go back to case study. That would be great. Yeah. So I think this ML pipeline part, right? Because it's the same thing that we have done in scikit-learn. Even the concept of GPU is not clear. Um, See, GPU is like a faster processing kind of stuff. It's the kind of processing you have in your computers, right? So the graphical processing unit, what it does is actually fasten up your processing. And the CUDA framework that we're using, so CUDA is called Compute Unified Device Architecture. It's a kind of architecture where it takes up the parallel computing platform. So CUDA is basically a parallel computing platform, and it has a like a API version also. So it takes up that, and the GPU allocated to it, and it fastens up the process of restoring data set, or maybe reading the data set, or training the model, all these things. So GPU is I think GPU is a pretty common term, right? What is so special about GPUs? Yeah, okay, Rapids. Okay, see, the special thing is that it's pretty fast, right? So when we compare it with the normal scikit-learn and machine learning that we do in Python, right? So it's pretty fast. Rapids is pretty fast. So that is one of the best advantages we have. Yeah, yeah. It's because see, training a model takes hours. So when you take a data set which is pretty big, or image data set, it takes hours. So if you want to cut down that time and increase your productivity, your team's productivity, your team's engagement in other activities, right? So then probably that will help you. Okay. I think yeah, Arrow is mostly used for Paki files. Yes, absolutely yes. So there is a PyArrow here we have a version of PyArrow in this as well. I'll show you in the code also. Okay. So let's focus on the PPT here now. So I think this ML pipeline thing is pretty much clear, right, for all of you. Give me a yes for this, please. Okay. So let's move on to the next slide, which is pandas and CUDF. Now, please ask your questions here. Like, what did you guys didn't understand? Actually, what happening here is basically that we are comparing both uh, CUDF. CUDF is nothing but the similar kind of pandas in Rapids. It's as similar to pandas. CUDF abbreviation is CUDA data frame. CUDA data frame. D stands for data, F stands for frame, and CUDA is the architecture. Right? Clear? Okay. So in pandas we have pandas data frame, right? In a similar way we have package name as CUDA data frame. So we have imported alias. We have taken alias as CU, right? CUDA data frame. And when we do it with normal pandas, when we read the file, you will get the time it consumed to load the data set was 5.2 seconds. Clear? And when we do with CUDA data frame CUDF, it took 3.15 seconds, which is like faster, right? So the amount the amount we are reading here is basically 0.8 million rows, right? So around 8 lakh 87,000 rows. So that's pretty much big, right? Even if we talk about 1 million rows or 5 million rows, so it's going to take a lot of time to read it. So this is just a simple example that how fast CUDF is in comparison to pandas, right? In the similar way, we need to see in machine learning as well, right? Here in scikit-learn, if you see, can we compare to task? No, Rajkumar, we can't do that. So in scikit-learn versus CUML, I actually ran the random forest model for both. So the first one you see is basically RFC GPU is nothing but the CU ML version of random forest. Okay, so here the time it took for training this model was 0.23 seconds, and the time it took for normal scikit-learn where we imported this random forest algorithm, it took was 44 seconds. So now you can understand, right, how fast it is. Almost 44 times fast is the CU ML package. So are we clear on these slides? Okay, cool. So now let's go to the demo case study, and I'll show you a demo like how we can do it in Colab. Okay, so here we have the case study, and let me just reconnect. So I have ran the code already in my system because it takes a lot of time. Installing Rapids in the system takes a lot of time. So what I did is I already pre-installed it in my system, like the Colab version which I'm using right now, and I'm just going to show you like what are the steps that you need to do to install. Now, the first thing that we have here is, again, the introduction is about basically how GPU data science or GPU ML is pretty much important, right? So it gives us the reduced training time. If you talk about the training time, it gives you reduced training time, and like Rapids is pretty much open source. Those people are asking the question, and you have a lot of integrations, Python integrations as well, and you can work on GPU workflows, right? And model accuracy is something that you can do for your model, right? And the overall aim is to get the accelerated data science here. Okay, so there's a bit introduction about Rapids also here. You can just go through it. So we're going to share this notebook with you guys, right? So you can do that. And the libraries, as I talked about, right? CUDF is the pandas like data frame for manipulation library, the data frame manipulation, and CUML for the machine learning. CUGraph is the network package, and CUDN is for like TensorFlow and neural networks basically. So if you want to see, when I was talking about the development stage of these things, right? So if you look at this cheat sheet, can you guys see this cheat sheet on screen? Okay, cool. So the thing is, a lot of packages are there, which, like, if you look at this sort values and all those things, all these functions are there, but they have wrote a lot of things are planned for future release. You can see this here, and you can see in every kind of functionalities they have said that a lot of things are planned for future release. So you can work with it. You can actually replace completely Python and start using Rapids for your ML framework or machine learning models or for data science also. But you might not get all those functions that are present in Python, because a lot of things are pretty much planned for future release, right? They're going to come up with a lot of other things as well. So they are going to add it, because they have given the cheat sheet pretty much for to get you started with these things. And but overall, if you want to completely shift from Python to this framework, then probably you need to wait a little bit, because maybe you need to have a stable version that is released in the market, right? So this sheet will be you can get in on internet, and you can also get this in this notebook as well, right? 1 second. Okay. So the next thing is the prerequisites of this particular thing. What are the kind of prerequisites that we need to have? First of all, I need to make sure that we are running our runtime. Go to this runtime and change your runtime type, and you can select this GPU here and just save it. Okay, so this will give you. I'm not going to do it because I'm already have done it. My runtime is on GPU. If you want to verify that, what you can do after saving this, you can go here and check it. So right now I'm running on my GPU, right? And with GPU are we running on, that we will talk about. Okay. So the prerequisites are like the Rapids framework will only work on Tesla T4 GPU, Tesla V100, Tesla P40, P4, and P100. So if you have these GPUs allocated to you for this particular session or in Google Colab, then probably your Rapids will definitely work. Okay. And why is that? To check on which GPU you're running, you run this code, NVIDIA SMI. Okay, this is a management interface. This is a code for that. So you once you run this code, you will get the GPU allocated to you. So if you see here, this is the GPU that we have right now, Tesla P100, and it also matches with the prerequisites of this particular notebook. So we have a prerequisite of Tesla P100, and we have P100. Even if you don't get P100, you can get Tesla P4, P40, V100, and T4 as well. Okay. In case if you ever come across a GPU called Tesla K80, okay, I'm just writing it for you guys here. So that is, you need to take care of this pretty much. If you ever get Tesla K80, please note on this. Okay. Okay, if you get this GPU, your Rapids won't work. It's not supported for this particular GPU. The only GPUs that are present for this is the Tesla T4, V100, P40, P40, P4, and P100. Only these are available for Rapids. So as I ran my GPU, as I allocated my GPU, I have now Tesla P100. And if you want to check, right now, there's nothing in my GPU. It's empty. Okay, I'm not imported my model into my GPU. I'll do that later down the line, right? So these are the things. And for installing Rapids in Google Colab, are you guys clear with this GPU part? How to allocate it and how to check? Please give me yes. Your Colab is showing Tesla T4. That's great. Then you can work on it, right? You can work on it and you can install Rapids. Tesla T4, Tesla P4 will definitely work, and P4 and T4 both will work. Only Tesla K80 will not work. Can you please repeat allocate part? Okay, okay, I'll do that. Sure. What you need to do, you need to just go to the runtime here. Can you see the runtime here? Okay, you go here, you then go to change runtime type. And here you have options for hardware accelerator. So here you have option none, GPU and TPU. You need to select GPU here by yourself. Okay, as you select this, you just go and save it. Then you will your complete kernel will run on GPU. Okay, I'm not doing it because I already did that. So Kundan, is it clear? Okay, Jigna asks, how do you, can I get a yes? Okay, yes, Kundan. Okay. Jigna asks, how to handle if by chance we get Tesla K80? Okay, yes, there is a solution. You can just go to runtime here. You go runtime and you need to do factory reset runtime. Okay, you need to reset runtime or you can do restart runtime as well. You can do both. You can use either of these options. You do this and again go and start allocate from the start. Then again change runtime, select GPU, and then once you select it, connect it, and then you can run the cell, right? NVIDIA SMI. That way you can reallocate it. So what happens is, see, these are the common GPUs that are available in Colab. This P4, T4, and all these things. Will it work in the Jupyter Notebook? No, Sandeep. I've been saying this a lot of times, right? So it won't work in Jupyter Notebook at all. You have to use GPU framework basically, right? So Colab will give you that GPU framework. So as I was specifying, right, the Tesla T4, P4, and all these things, you will get this in Colab. That's why this notebook is specifically designed in Colab only. And if you want further details about this, right, it might give you K80 again and again. Yes, inside. Yeah, okay, yeah, inside is okay. That's great. You need to retry it multiple times. So yeah, for this query you ask, so you can see this, right? You can use a GPU powered Google Colab notebook by clicking here. So I have given the link for this particular notebook in this also. So you just click here. It will take you to this Colab notebook, and you can just start. See here the installation is given automatically. They have provided it here, right? And examples also given here, right? So you can do anything you want. This is just a sample notebook that is provided by NVIDIA for this rapids, right? So they do this environmental sanity check and then they just give some examples, but we have a complete case study here depicting everything right from top to bottom. So you can just open this notebook and start working on it, right? But you need to just change the runtime type and all these things, right? Yeah, so if you see that, check the output of NVIDIA SMI to make sure you have been allocated Tesla T4, P4, or P100, right? So these are the things, but you can also use these things also. So after some research, we found that we can use these GPUs as well. Okay, are we clear on this part? Can move forward. Whoever is getting K80, please. Okay, Vinay Kumar, just go here in the runtime and do the factory reset runtime or do restart runtime. Okay, you need to do it multiple times. See, this is one of the pain that is there because K80 something is something that comes rarely, but usually we get Tesla T4 or something. But when the usage is high, right? See, Google Lab is used by multiple people across the globe, right? So the GPUs might be allocated to people, lot of people. So if there is no GPU available, Tesla T4 or nothing else available, they assign K80 for the purposes, right? For various purposes. But if you want to have Tesla T4, you need to reallocate it multiple times, right? Yeah, Varalakshmi, I'll share this notebook. Definitely, you'll get this. Not right now, but after the session, you will definitely get this, and you can work on it. Or parallelly, if you want, you can open Google Colab and start running, executing the code. Okay, you don't have code. Uh, right now, the sharing settings are pretty much complicated right now in my notebook. As soon as the session is over, I'll definitely give you. Either you can start with this thing. I just shared this notebook link. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, P100 will work fine, Vinay. You can go with it. Yes, definitely. Okay, great, great, great. Yes, 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 Rajiv. You will definitely get the recording. The session is being recorded and you will definitely get it. Right? Okay, cool. Right. So let's go forward. I hope this is pretty much clear till this point, right? Allocating GPU, checking it, which GPU is available, all these things. Yeah. Okay, great. We are replacing Python, Sunil. I'll show you. I'll show you definitely. We are replacing Python here. I'll show you that, right? Tesla K80, please relocate Lalit. I think you can pretty much do it very easily. Please relocate that, and you will definitely get T4 or anything, P4, P100, V100, something. Okay, let's go forward, guys. We are running out of time as well. I think my pace is pretty much good. Okay, now can I get a feedback on that? Is it fast or is it okay? Okay, right. Now comes to the installation process. We have checked our, okay, this is the other notebook. Okay. We have this Tesla P100 here. We have nothing is stored right now in our GPU, and now we install Rapids in this, right? So the process of installing Rapid is nothing but you need to run this code cell. I have already done it, but you need to run by yourself. Okay, and this is going to take a lot of time, right? It might take like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, or maybe 5 minutes of your time, right? So let it run it and let the installation get completed. Once you get installation, the check that you need to do. So there are like checklists for this, right? You need to check your GPU first, and you need to make sure that it's like P4 or P100 something. And one more check that you need to make sure after installing Rapids here is you need to check this line. It says, oh, your instance has the right kind of GPU, a Tesla P100 PICE PCIe 16 GB. Okay. If you don't get this message, if you get an exception error, so if you allocate K80, Tesla K80, what will it will give you instead of this line, this highlighted line, it will give you an exception error that they won't. It's not possible to install Rapids because the GPU is not supported. If you, in that case in K80 it happens like this. If you want, you can try. You can allocate K80 and then you can try on your own, and your installation will not work. So this is a checkpoint where you need to make sure that you have the right kind of instance for your GPU. Okay, this is in my case it's Tesla P100. Yeah. Every time we have to install, right? Because see, the runtime is only for few hours, right? Collab is only allocated to you for 8 hours. So after 8 hours, if you're done with your work in 8 hours, then probably that's good. You're good to go. If you're not, then probably you might need to go for the, let's say you want to buy some storage or GPU from Google Lab, right? Uh, okay, let's go forward. The installation is pretty much done. All the packages necessary are being installed, like have been installed, and you can see the list here, right? Everything is done pretty much. So this will take a bit of time. So please be patient on that aspect and let it install, and then you can work further. So finally, you will get a message like this stating your installation is pretty much done, right? So if you see this message here, right, your Google Colab instance has Rapids installed. So once you see this message, it means that you have Rapids installed on your system. So look out for, so these are the checkpoints that you need to make sure, right? Check for GPU, check for whether the instance is working right or not, and then you need to make sure the Rapids installed, okay? No, it's not still in progress. It's done. It's already done. Okay, yours. Okay. Great. Yeah, it will take time. Okay, let's move forward from here. So when I was talking about setup, the installation process, it's like you need to install the most recent Miniconda version. So Miniconda version is basically a bootstrap model of the Anaconda version. So where you can install Miniconda that is compatible with Google Colab's Python install version, right? And remove all the incompatible files. And next, it will install the Rapid libraries, as I shown you that all the libraries were installed, and set the necessary environment variables that we need. Okay, so these are the this. So we need to install PyRL version also. Right now we are using the 0.15x version. Okay, so in this case study, we are looking at a problem statement which is basically allocated to loan defaulters, right? So it's a loan defaults data set we are using. So the bank wants to classify. Can you work on Anaconda and Anaconda in parallel? Not pretty. So if you have a Miniconda, that's basically the bootstrap version of Anaconda, right? So you can carry on with Miniconda itself. Parallel, I'm not sure, Siba. I'll just check and let you know about it, right? So yeah, so we are working on this loan defaulters data set, and wherein the bank wants to understand whether the customers are loan defaulters or not. So this is the problem statement we have in this case study, and now we are importing our libraries. So one of the important points is here, right? So if you check the import statements are like CUDF. I am importing the CUDA data frame as CU here, okay, in the alias, and pandas as PD, okay, and numpy is numpy and np, and remaining all are the same things that we use for scikit-learn, right? So all the scikit-learn packages are installed here, and I have ran this code already. So coming to the data set, we have almost 8 lakh rows here, and going into features. Okay, so once you're done with your data set, and then you go for pre-processing and all that stuff. So let's look at the target variable. So is default is the target variable, in which 0 is basically not default, 1 is default. So all the people who are defaulters would come as 1, and who are not will come as 0. And this is basically a classification model that we are running here. So the bank wants to classify the customers as loan defaulters or not. Okay, so as I said, right, I've shown you in PPT. Now I'm using df pd read underscore csv. Okay, and I'm importing the data set using pandas. So the wall time, if you see, it's 9.1 seconds. So if you compare the time from your PPT that I've shown you, and if you compare it now, because I have ran it multiple times, so it might take the times might differ. Okay, so this is taking 9.1 seconds to load this data set using pandas. And if I check the memory, my memory of my data set is basically 156 MB. If you convert these bytes into MB, you will definitely get 156 here. Okay, so what 156 MB. And if I'm doing the same thing with my CUDF package, the runtime is almost 4.77 seconds. It's almost half, almost half, we can say, right? Can we? Okay. All right. So that is the thing that I was showing the comparison for you guys, that if you do it with CUDF, the Rapids data frame, CUDA data frame package, the processing would be faster. Okay. And if you do it with Pandas, it's going to take more time. So we have done the head for this. Okay. The info part, all these are like the normal things that we do in our data science, this ML pipeline. Yeah. Pre-processing, in pre-processing, I'm just dropping these columns because I don't want it. So I'm just dropping these columns, and label encoding these columns because I just want to encode it because there are multiple categories present. So I just want to label encode it. Okay. And I'm dummifying these two variables. So if you want to check how did I do the dummification, you can see this loan purpose house, loan purpose major purpose, uh, medical, moving, other, all these things. Okay, and at the same time, you can go for own type also, mortgage, none, other, own, rent, all these things. So this is the dumbification I did. Now splitting the dependent and independent variables. This is same as what we do in our normal Python, right? So we're doing the splitting here, uh, and then we are using the standard scaler here to standardize the data set so that we can fit it in our algorithm, and splitting the data into training and testing set. So if we split it, we get this the train shape as this and the test shape as this. Okay. Now this is the important point. Now I want all of you guys to pay attention here. So since you were asking, every action will be fast. And this is Supriya. Okay. Suresh, what is the problem? Giving error tried multiple times. Which error are you talking about? Uh, that shouldn't be the case, I guess. So it's NVIDIA SMI. NVIDIA. Yeah, it's. Oh, there's space between hyphen. Can you just replace space? Yeah, it's only NVIDIA hyphen SMI, no space. Yes. Wow, great. Right. I'm pretty happy that you guys are like paying attention and getting the errors here. That's pretty much. Oh, what is this? I can't. I'm not able to understand. Guys, let's complete this case study and we'll come back to the issue that Suresh is facing. Right? Yeah, please rechange the runtime and then you can you'll definitely get it. There's no issues in that, right? Okay, so now let's pay attention to oh sorry, what we need to focus on here. As I said, you can see the 6.6 point here, converting the pandas data frame to a GPU data frame using CUDF. So this is the conversion that we make here. Okay, so what we are doing xtrain underscore GDF, which is basically GPU data frame. So GDF stands for GPU data frame. Okay, so we are using cu dot data frame function from pandas to converting from pandas to cu data frame here. So we're doing this for xtrain xtest, ytrain ytest. You can see here, right? Once you do this, we need to convert the 64-bit memory allocation to 32-bit memory allocation for CUML. Okay, so you're saying, right, how it can be fast, how it can be it can happen in rapids, right? This is one of the reasons, right? It converts your 64-bit memory that you usually do in Python. So when you do it in Python, you might do it with int64, float64, all these types, right? And data types. But when you do it with in what happens in rapid is it converts from 64 to 32 bit. So as you can see, the space occupation is pretty much low, right? When you store 64 bit, when you store 32 bit, there's a difference, right? There's almost difference of half, you can say, right? So this is what happens in rapids, and it's going to give you the results based on flow 32, int32, both things. Okay, so we need to convert these things into 432 and int32, and once we do that, again we need to check. So I have ran these two codes. Okay, now my data frame isn't completely in my GPU. I've converted, right? This step is for converting my pandas data frame to GPU data frame. I converted this and I changed the 64-bit memory to 32-bit memory. After I do this, I again ran this NVIDIA SMI, okay, system management interface. Now the space which is occupied in my GPU is 833 MIB. MIB is nothing but megabyte. So if you guys are aware of megabyte, can you just give me the conversion of megabyte to MB? How much 1 MB is? 1 MIB is 1 MB. No, Pratik, not 1024. No, not 102. No, Babu. 1.04. Yes, absolutely. 1.04. So 1 MIB is equivalent to 1.04 MB. So if you convert it into MIB megabyte to megabytes, it will almost get from 873 or 872 something MB. So that's not much. So this is the occupation of your entire GPU, memory. Okay, so once I transform my data set, now I'm going to do my model creation. Okay, so the next part is the model creation here. In model creation, I'm using first the scikit-learn logistic regression base model. Okay, so base model I have created here, and I'm going to measure time that it takes to create in scikit-learn. So the scikit-learn took almost 15.44 seconds, 15.54 seconds. Sorry. Okay. In the same way, if I do it in CUML, the logistic regression same model, which I did it in scikit-learn, I use this command from CUML import logistic regression as LGR, and then I convert my data frame into 432. Okay, not a data frame, the white frame variable. Okay, into 432 because in logistic regression you need. Why do you need floating points in logistic regression? I think this is a good question for you, all the ML folks, because you have done ML, right? So can you just tell me why do we need floating points in logistic regression? What does logistic regression give you at the end of? Yes, Raj, you're absolutely right. Probabilities, right. Okay, so that's the thing. So that's why we need values as floating points. Okay, so we converted into floating points and then we ran the model here. And now if you can see the output here, the GPU training time with GPU data frame took only 0.017 seconds. Can you see how fast it is? Right, it's almost 15 times faster than what actually we do in scikit-learn. What we did was just convert our Python data frames into CUDF data frames, the Rapids data frame, and then we are applying the machine learning using Rapids CUML. And it's going to increase your processing pretty much fast. As I said, that it uses CUDA architecture, right? So it's a parallel computing, parallel processing happens, and it's going to fasten up your process, and it's going to give you results pretty fast. So that's the comparison that I was talking about when I was showing slides. And here you have the example as well, the live example as well. Okay, so guys, the thing is, I'm not running this notebook here in uh, what do you say, in live environment because it takes time, the installing packages and everything, right? You can definitely, once I share this notebook to you, then you can do it uh, on your own and check it. You can check it for various models as well, right? Yeah, so the next thing is scikit-learn random forest is done. Oh, sorry. Yeah. The next thing is scikit-learn random forest. From here, we import the sklearn random forest model, and we now compare the time here. So after running with the pandas data frame, it gives me 49 seconds. Okay, 49.8 seconds. And if we do it with CUML, same thing. Again, we convert the data type here. Okay, and the answer is the time is 1.1 seconds. So again, you can see the difference. Random forest actually takes much more time than logistic regression, as you guys might know pretty much, right? How it will work for model evaluation like grid search and all those. Yeah, so these are things that you need to figure out, Chayan, right? So the thing is, you can see, as I said, right, this package is actually pretty much in development stage. So there are a lot of things that needs to come out. So probably they have documentations, right? They have provided documentation, a lot of documentations, and you can just go and check documentation. If you find good code, probably you will definitely able to execute the research as well, right? So, oh, sorry. When can you please address my question on 32-bit data loss? Uh, Siddharth, I didn't see your question. Sorry. Can you just please post your question again? How much cloud space we can use to collab? So if you see the space here, memory allocation, right? You can see it here. Whatever space you want to use, you can use it, and you can use it for like almost 8 hours in continuous stretch. If you're working continuously, you're running model and everything. If not, then maybe reallocation will happen, right? This session duration is 1 hour actually. Oh, we crossed time. Okay, I'll just quickly wrap it up. I'll just complete it. We are done actually. We have shown the comparisons here, and I'm just about to say the conclusions. Can we save the work? Yeah, your this notebook is for you only. Like you have created this notebook, it will be remain with you in your Google Drive or somewhere, right? Definitely. Okay, you can go and download from here. You go to file, you go to this download IPYNB. You can do that as well. Again, when you want to work again, you can just upload it in Google App and you can do that. So that is the way you can do things. Okay. Even if it is fast, as we are shifting from 64-bit to 32-bit, we will not lose data in graphical data, like images. Uh, See, the conversion which I've shown you is for like the ML models. Okay, for data for CUDNN, as I said, right? This is a package called CUDNN for deep learning models. Okay, so the coding aspects and the parameters or maybe the documentation would be different for that. So we haven't tried the deep learning model. It's just that we have worked with some of the machine learning models, the basic machine learning models, and we found this good enough results to showcase you, right? What you can do is you can try your own deep learning model with images and all, and probably see this the field and the entire field of machine learning is to research, right? You can do research, you can work on models, you can come up with some bugs or something, and you can start your own reporting in on GitHub and all these things. So you can do that, and you can try out on your own and maybe share the results with us also, so that we can showcase it to the class, entire class also, right? That's up to you. We leave that up to you, right? During such a discussion, now hands on. Thanks to you. Oh, Jaydev, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jaydev. Right. Uh, can you paste the link of notebook again? Uh, so I'm not sharing my notebook right now because settings issue is there. So I will, what I'll do, I'll leave this, I'll paste this one. And once we upload the content to the LMS, you can access the notebook there. We'll definitely post there, the recording, the notebook, and all the links for the cheat sheet and everything are there. Even the PPT, I'll give you a PPT as well. No issues in that, right? Okay, so last few things finally, and then we will wrap up because it's more than an hour. We have been doing this session. Okay, so if we go to the conclusions here, as you can see, that CUML's random forest found to be way more faster, right? As we have seen in the training models using rapids accelerates the speed of training, right? That is one thing. And the data analysis part is also accelerated because CUDF, as I showed it to you in the early stage, right? So the syntax for both CUDF and CML is similar to pandas and sklearn, as I said, right? So the cheat sheet which I showed you here, so you can find all the you can find all the kind of syntaxes here, right? And there are pretty much more to come. Okay, maybe they might have updated the sheet or maybe release new sheet or something. You need to figure these things out, and you can start playing around with these things, right? So what I believe is, like, from this session, it gives you pretty much a ground for you to start working in Rapids, because Rapids is altogether a different framework. You know what, guys? These things these days, a lot of things are coming up: PyTorch, PySpark, and a lot of other things to work on, right? Even if you talk about IDs, right? There are multiple IDs to work on. So if you want to, yeah, PyCaret, right? So if you want to get exposure to all these things, maybe you might have find, so since you guys have done your machine learning, right? You might have found things like the companies who are recruiting data scientists and machine learning, they are asking for a lot of things, right? Have you worked on PyTorch or not? Are you familiar with PyTorch or not? Or PyCaret, right? Do you know how to work on PyCharm? And similarly, in future also, they might come up with these requirements of Rapids or something, because Rapids is from NVIDIA. NVIDIA is uh, a big company in terms of GPUs or in terms of the architecture they provide for laptops, computers, and everything. Computing, basically. If you talk about computing, NVIDIA is the high level for everything, right? So NVIDIA is coming up with their own package, means like definitely they're going to come up with something bigger, right? Already they have very good things like in fastening up the process and everything, right? And if they come with a certain stable versions, probably these are going to be one of the kind of demanding tools that people will ask, right? So I think you guys can focus on that, and you just start learning from here. You start with this notebook and build upon it, and create multiple models, right? And you can go through the documentation and everything, and you can do it, right? So yeah, that is it from my side for this session, and I think we have pretty much crossed the time. Anyhow, I'm open to some questions. If you think you have any question that is related to the session, please ask. Otherwise, you can drop an email to academics as well. No issues in that, right? We'll answer your queries. It's just like 80 when, sorry, we have a lot of questions in the Q&A box. Okay, just a second. Logs using Rapids. Hepzibah, again, you need to figure that out, right? You need to research a bit, and you can need to figure it out and see whether you can apply it or not. Uh, one good thing I can tell you about Rapids is that you can use this XGBoost model pretty much well. Actually, you know what? You can actually get pretty good and fast results for using XGBoost because it takes a lot of time when you do it in Python, normal local system Python, right? Or maybe Colab. But if you do it for the Rapids, and they have, if you see Python XGBoost, you need to import it in a different version. It doesn't come in the scikit-learn version, right? If you guys notice, then but in Rapids they have created their own version of this XGBoost, and it works pretty much well. So this is one of the best features for Rapids, right? So we have worked on this XGBoost model. So it takes a lot of time to train, but still you can work on you can try that out definitely. Okay. Arijit, is there a way we can use a Google Drive space for Colab after we mount Drive to Colab and then install Rapid into that? Yeah, you can do that definitely. Yeah, you can mount your Colab and actually see the thing is you are running Rapids on a GPU, right? For that you don't have to utilize your space. Already they are giving you a lot of space, right? So you can do that and yeah, start with it. ML Spark. No, I guess every time I need to change some Rapids, it will not. Yeah, I think we have covered these questions. Okay, okay, right. Uh, I don't think any change in coding part as there are different libraries can be accessed with Python language. Uh, yeah, so right, that is one of the things. There is a lot of similarity in the code as well, right? So you can use it alternatively. If you want to fasten up your process, you can do that. Otherwise, you can go with your Python. So if you work with your Python again, that if you remember that image that I shown you, right? When you go for CPU workflow and when you go for GPU workflow, you waste a lot of time. You invest a lot of time in pre-processing and everything because CPU workflow will actually deter your execution times, right? But in GPU workflow, it will give you a better advantage, faster times. That is the one of the best advantage, right, of Rapids. Okay, okay. I guess we have pretty much covered all the questions. And do you have any architecture diagram? As of now, I don't have any, Rupak, but definitely you can drop a mail to academics. We will figure out something and give you the architecture diagram if you have it, right? Mm, okay, thank you so much for everyone, like for joining the session, and I hope this session was useful for you. Uh, yeah, if the ultimate aim was to make you guys learn new things, right? Obviously there's a lot of things coming up in market, so we guys want you to not just stick to the Python and normal scikit-learn, but also have the experience for other things as well, right? So in that way the session was pretty much built. Yeah, thanks to Vincent as well. Yes, like basically he's one of my teammate who's helping out in the session because we have TAs, right? So yeah, thanks a lot. Thank you everyone. Also, one last update that we will post all the material on the LMS, and you can access it and go through the recording again if you want to have clarifications, and if you have doubts, you can drop email or you can post in community. And yes, pretty much this. Thank you everyone. I think I took a lot of time of yours, but it's okay. You guys learned something new, right? Yes, definitely, Juna. We are planning to come up with a lot of more sessions like this. Definitely. Thank you so much for your feedback. Yeah. All right. Thank you, guys. I'm just going to wrap up the session. We are done for the day. Have a good night. And again, we will see you in the weekend classes. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Bye.